Alright friends, on to lesson number 2 for our place value unit. Today we're going to be talking about numbers, how we read them, and how we write them. So for reading numbers, we're going to need to remember all that we learned about place value. So I put our handy dandy place value chart right here. And we have an example number. Now, we don't read that number like 92374 because we are not robots. So we have to use the information about place value that we know to help us read that number. We also have something else that can help us, which is this comma right here. Commas tell us to stop. So I know that as I'm reading this number, I'm going to stop here before moving on to the rest of the digits. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this number in my place value chart because I know that's going to help me remember the place value of each of the digits. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to read up until I stop. So I'm going to read 92. And the comma tells me to stop. Now, I know that's not the number 92. There's all these other digits after it. So there must be something place value related. This is actually 92,000 because the 2 ends in the thousands place. So I'm going to read this as 92,000. Then I have to read what comes after the comma, 374. So I can even cover up each side because I'm only going to read one piece at a time. So 92,374. Something to remember, we never, ever say the word and when we read whole numbers. You can remember the word and when we make it to decimals and fractions way later in the year. But when we read whole numbers, we never use the word and. So, how about you try to read the following numbers? Think you have it? This is the number 374,192. Remember, I stop at the comma to say the place value. Want to try another one? Ready? This is 62,957. And one more. This number is 201,586. Doesn't matter that there's a 0 here because I'm just going to read this number by itself, 201. And then the comma tells me to stop and say the place value, 201,586. Okay, now, if you think you've got saying numbers, then you're definitely going to be able to write numbers in words because step 1 is say the number to yourself. Step 2 is write down what you hear. So I'll demonstrate with this number. Okay, so I'm looking at this number. I know I'm going to have to stop and say a place value at that comma. So let's see. This number is 645,812. Okay, so now I'm just going to think how I would write 645,812. 645,812. So exactly what I heard, that's what I had to write down. We don't have to write 600,000, 410,000, 5,800, 110, 2 ones. That's a lot. That's not how we read numbers. We only say the place value when we get to the comma. So this is how it's written. Think you found success? Time to check your understanding.